Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Amirul Hazib bin Roslin, and for today we will be doing mock milling machine. In this video I'll be using my styrofoam, which is, and in this video I'll be showing to you a few cards and how to execute them. I'll be talking about the hand movement and the axis that is required to cut using those methods. So without further ado, let's start our video. First and foremost, make sure to turn on the machine and then check all of the machine settings to the appropriate setting and check whether there is no malfunction, so that there will be no accident will happen during the Next is to set the cutting tool. Attach the end mill cutting tool to the spindle and then tighten the cutting tool. Use spanner to make sure that it is really tight, so that when you're using it, it won't fall off or The next is to place the material into the machine vise. You can use another metal or anything to elevate the material from the bottom or the ground, so that it is easier to cut. And then make sure to tighten the vise. The vise is used to ensure that the material will stay in place when cutting process happens. Safety procedures. Make sure to have someone to supervise you when doing this. And then if you don't know how to use the milling machine, make sure to have someone who is expert to do it for you. After finishing the machining process, make sure to turn off all of the electric that is involved during the process. And last but not least, don't forget to wear your safety equipment. The next is to set the position of the material. The movement y-axis is back and forth like in the video. The z-axis is the movement from top to the bottom. This is actually the spindle. Finally, the x-axis is a movement from left to right. For facing cut, set the z-axis and then cut using the x-axis. After done for one side, adjust the y-axis and then repeat the same step, which is to use the x-axis to cut the material. For side cutting, make sure that your cutting tool covers the thickness of the material from the side, and then using the x-axis to decrease the gap between the cutting tool and the material, and then using Y-axis to cut back and forth. For step cut, using the Z-axis to determine how deep you want to cut the material, and then using X-axis to determine how long you want to cut the step, and then use the Y-axis to cut it. For the second step, change the Z-axis to higher than the first one, and then repeat the same step using the Y-axis to cut the material. For hole or drill, set X and Y axis perpendicular to the spindle, and then cut using Z axis. After finish cutting, turn off the machine. Make sure to clean the project area because the steel dust is dangerous for us to breathe in. Release the material from the vise. This is the final product after the machining process.